welcome everybody. It's DH Thorne coming at you live on a beautiful Thursday. Oops, I forgot my lid here. Let me put my lid on, scare my bird. Let's see what she does. Tweet, tweet. You want to fly away? You don't like me now, do you? So what's up, everybody? It's me, DH Thorne, with the beautiful Kamila coming at you live tonight. Today. It's today. It's not tonight. Say hi to everybody, Kamila.
Hello, everybody. It's been a long time.
All right. Looks like everything's working. Hopefully everyone can hear us. Get a mic check. Check, check, check. What's up, everybody? So we only got like 7 or 8 people today, 10 people today. Usually we do this at 10, but the beautiful Kamila requested a daytime stream. So I agreed. I thought that would be a good idea. Kind of give us a different energy than usual, different lighting, different everything. And she's in the beautiful ritual room. Beautiful woman in a beautiful ritual room.
With the sun shining down on me.
Yes, with the bird cage so that the bird can be protected and to protect the ritual room.
That's right.
Although I don't think it's showing up on the main feed. It's showing up on mine.
It's over there.
It's over there. And you just did a ritual, though I don't think you want to talk about it so much. So, but yeah.
I mean, it's nothing truly fantastic, but it was quite an eventful full moon night.
I had a lot of fun going for a walk while you were doing rituals and stuff, so that was fun.
Yeah.
It's a magical month.
It was essentially quite a few spirits I worked with that night. Offerings to 2 of them, just, you know, bringing them in and communing, doing my full moon offerings, and then doing a protection for an individual who's very near and dear to our son, and creating a servitor.
Yeah, creating a servitor can be a lot of fun. The problem with servitors that I've had is they do require regular maintenance. And if you don't, they either get away from you or they fizzle out. Servitors can be rather advanced. Whenever I use a servitor, I like to create them, use them, then get rid of them, or set them free, whatever. You know, one of the biggest risks is a servitor can turn into an egregore. And then they can completely get away from you. So you do have to watch out for that.
Right.
But we're also joined by a third partner today, little Jewel, my little Paralette, who has taken to plucking, and it seems to be not much we can do about it because I'm learning that it's not just the way they are. Like, it's not just our animal husbandry skills that are at question here, but when they are hand raised, when they're hatched, if they don't have their their parents and their siblings to groom them, they will overpreen because they never learn to stop. So they always overpreen when they're captive birds. They just do. That doesn't necessarily become plucking, because, they're usually stimulated and having a good time. But if they, for whatever reason, become maybe overstimulated even or understimulated, they can actually, their already aggressive plucking can turn into a habit. And it's sort of like that condition where people pull their hair out. Now, emotionally, she's fine. She's a happy little bird, except for when she's hormonal. That's when she's a giant pain in the ass. But we have a lot of fun. Come here, baby. She's kind of scared of my hat.
I still say, since she's small and green, we should rename her to Parrot Dot.
Parrot Dot, yeah. Yeah, she's a little upset that I'm wearing a hat. She doesn't. Paralettes, all birds don't like when you change details, but paralettes, being a type of Amazon parrot or whatever, they are very territorial, moody, and suspicious of anything new because I guess in their environment they have a lot of predators and things. So they're it's pretty funny.
She hates when I paint my nails a new color.
Yep. She'll get mad if you change your nail color, or if I change, like I'm wearing a bracelet, so I'll take the bracelet off. That might be what's bothering her. The hat could be it too.
She doesn't like bandages.
She doesn't like bandages, yeah. Come here, sweetie. Come on. Come in. All right, you can stay there. As long as you're here, as long as I can see you. She's actually watching you on the screen right now. She's like hanging down and watching you.
She's so sweet.
All right. Well, anyway, it's not going to be just about the bird today. Let's say hi to everybody here. Adversarial Self is here. He gave us the sign of the horns. Lilith 1984. Hello, both. I hope you are well. And Rare Slowed and Reverb says, so what's this all about? I'm lost. I mean, I don't know. If you're looking for us to find your path for you, you're going to be in a shit creek without a paddle. But
I don't think we have a set topic anyway. We're pretty lost in and of ourselves.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's like you get burned out on topics because, like, what do I want to talk about right now? You know, like, I don't know, stuff. It's kind of like just an excuse to hang out. Mm-hmm. Lilith says she had one and it turned on her. I guess she means parrot. And I would assume, yeah, that is pretty scary.
No, I assume she was, Lilith was talking about the servitor.
Oh, I'm dumb. I'm sorry, Lilith. I'm dumb. Yes, it was probably because we were talking about the servitors till that happened. Suicide Bunny Torres, what's up? Haven't seen you in a while. I know, like, we usually do an evening stream, so this is probably prime time for you. So what's up? I hope you're doing well. I hope the little stink machine is doing good. Le Stink is doing well. She looks like she's growing up really nicely, so that's really good to see. I'm glad everything's working out. So good to see you. All right. So what I like to do for these streams is to let you guys guide our conversation, especially when we don't have any given topic. But we can talk about pretty much anything from magic, spirituality, mysticism, current events within reason. You know, we're not trying to be divisive or anything, but come on, we're going through a major paradigm shift in this world. I think you all know it now. Yeah. You know, 2 or 3 years ago, people were like, oh, you're just a conspiracy theorist. And a lot of those people are now saying, oh, oops.
with this whole paradigm shift, as we're talking about it, and the political scene and the insanity of the world and all the fun shit that goes along with that, especially like in the workplaces. I would like to touch on something. I was actually going to make a video about it on my own channel, which I haven't touched in probably about a year, just because I'm lazy and, you know, fuck it, whatever. It was touched on at the Iron Garden gathering, not this past month, but the month before, with using your car as a magical tool. Essentially, I'm really glad to know we're not the only ones that think this. It's to leave your baggage in the car when you get home. It's something that we've been doing for years, coming home from work, and something we've encouraged our son to do. Leave it on the ship kind of shit. If you have to pull somebody into your car to talk, do it. Talk, vent on the way home, and leave it in the car. Do not bring it into your home and your sanctuary.
Yeah.
Your animals will pick up on it. Your children will pick up on it. Your spouse or significant other will pick up on it, and it'll create a toxic home environment. The end of the work weeks, cleanse your car so that when you're out and about, you're not soaking in it for your days off. Yeah.
Now, there's something, you know, I am not the banishing type very often, but, you know, that's why I like to do what I call the align and clear. It's basically the same principle. I'm not banishing things because that creates shadows, but when there is, we'll say, negative energy, it does build up, you know, and when I say negative energy, I mean like toxic energy, because negative energy is like a pulling force, right? We're talking about like a toxic thing. So there's two schools of thought. You either confront it directly and you get your healing out of it or whatever, or you clean it, you know, you repurpose it, you transmute it even, which is also a very good idea. But what we're talking about though is, you know, think of it this way. I take my shoes off when I come home. I don't like tracking the world through my house. And I do not permit any kind of footwear except for home footwear in the ritual room. So if we have like house slippers, that's fine.
I don't even like wearing them in the ritual room.
Right. Like I still recommend you take them off.
A lot of times I'll even take my socks off.
Yeah. It's like the holy of holies, you know, like from like religion. And it's a sanctuary. That room that Camilla's in is a sanctuary. You know, and if I'm feeling negative, if I bring negative into there, then it's not a sanctuary anymore. And when I say negative, I mean toxic. Now, bringing toxic in there and transmuting, it's one thing, but I mean, like, if I'm in a bad mood, I don't go in there, you know? I just don't like to do it. And if I do, it's to push it into something, you know, a working or an air freshener crystal, if you will, you know, to sort of get it out. But it's really important, like what you were saying, like leave it in the car, like leave it in the car.
Your home is a sanctuary.
I mean, this is why the symbolism of the broom exists, right?
Yeah.
You're sweeping out unwanted, dirty, cluttering energies. You know, you're not destroying them. You're just clearing your mind. You're just clearing your mind of the dualistic, toxic, egoic nonsense. So yeah, a car can work pretty good for that.
And speaking of the broom, I love the idea of having one at the front door. Where
and just sweeping it out as you
sweep the bullshit out.
Yeah.
Feel it creeping in, you sweep it out.
Yeah, so okay, we got Maiden Liberty says Undertaker. It's one of those things where it's like people have called me Undertaker, Meatloaf for many years, especially when I'm out in public in my trench coat, whether I'm wearing the hat or not. Like, it almost never fails. It's gotten a little bit less common. Like, it used to be constant, but now it's like once in a while. But for, you know, like if I'm wearing this hat and my coat, forget it. Somebody somewhere shouts out, "Ooh, it's the Daywalker!"
You know, it's less common now that you have your beard and your shaved the shaved sides of your head. Meatloaf was more common when you had the full hair
and no beard. Yeah, especially with the no beard. I could see it. It's embarrassing, but I could see it.
You also had Penn from Penn and Teller.
Yeah, I got that once or twice, especially when I was 330 in 330 pounds.
With the different glasses you used to have.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, you know, on the one hand, I get I don't like it because I'm me. Like, I'm not Undertaker. Like, I'm not trying to copy Undertaker. This is just styles that I like personally, that whether Undertaker existed or not, I'd be wearing. But no, and I know Maiden's not making fun.
I love it.
What's that?
I strongly encourage you to wear the hat. I love it.
Oh, I'm glad you love it. I like wearing it. It's it's not good when I have like a seat back to like, you know, but it's not like cowboy style. No. I mean, it is, but it's not, I don't feel like a cowboy when I wear it. Whereas
it's different.
It's more, yeah, it's more.
It's your style of hat.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like a baseball hat or a beret or other bullshit that don't look good.
It's almost like a warlock's hat. Like it looks like an old school, you know, puritanical or whatever, you know, like you need the buckle in the front. You know, it's got a little bit of that, like a witch hunter or warlock's hat, you know. That's why I like it. So what's that?
Modernized. I like the leather look of it.
It's got like a Vampire Hunter D thing going on. I kind of sometimes wish it was wider because I like the wide look, but yeah. There we go. We got some chats going on now. That's good. Yeah, so you guys, please, by all means, like our evening streams, it's full of people talking and asking questions. So please, by all means, I don't require that you super chat me or anything like that, although super chats always get usually the top of the list of responses. On the other hand, if you put it in all caps or at me or Kamila, if I think you're watching the chat.
Yeah.
If you at either of us or
technically, you know, it would be Shrieking Violet for the record.
Yeah, Shrieking Violet. Is that your channel still, or is that Camilla's Random? What's the
no,
channel?
I switched it from Camilla's Random to Shrieking Violet.
Okay. You can post in the chat, then they could probably just click on it if you want them to see your channel at all.
It's pretty much dead, but yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't use it much. It's just when she gets the urge to make something cute, you know. It's not very often.
Usually it's just stupid little crap. That's why I called it for a while Camilla's Random, because it was just random bullshit that I deemed it the junk drawer of YouTube. You would never know what you'll find, but it might be just something useful. You never know.
You know, with ADD, it's hard to do anything for long. You get burnt out sooner or later. You get hyper focused, you get good at it, then you burn out. That's sort of what happened to me a little bit. That's why I'm not posting as many videos, but
and it's coming up with ideas. It's like, oh, that's a great idea, and then it's a passing thing. It's gone.
yeah.
Oh, fuck it, whatever.
Being neurodivergent is fun. We're a very high functioning neurodivergent. I didn't even realize until this year, last year, like that I technically do. I am probably like a 7 or an 8 out of 10 on the ADHD spectrum.
Yeah.
Some days a 10 out of 10. Depends on the day. Yeah, so it's amazing I get anything done, to be honest with you. But yeah, Jay Sauber hit us with a super chat, $4.99, and he asked if I'm a Daywalker. I know he's being cute. Yes, I mean, as a Psy Vamp, technically, you know, that would be extra special. Though, you know, depending upon things, there was a time when daylight really did bother me, like more than average. Like it didn't kill me or anything like that. It was obviously, I don't believe in it like that. It's not, that's all myth and fairy tale. But sunlight used to be way more uncomfortable for me. And it has become, ironically, over the years, especially as I sort of integrated my vampire nature more, like more healthily, especially after working at the nursery for years outside, I actually kind of went the opposite. As much as I love the night and feel really comfortable, I need a nice occasional sunbath, if you will. I need an occasional day in the sun. Like a beautiful day like today, like it's just like, oh, that's nice.
It's so gorgeous lately.
Yeah, and sun gazing is something I'll do as a meditation. Not with my eyes open, obviously, because that'll fuck you up. But I'll look through my lids and I'll just sort of stare at the sky through my lids, and that brilliant golden orange glow that creates is very, very, very meditative. It's actually better than the darkness, in my opinion. Like when I'm, you know, staring into that, it's actually better than the darkness because it has more of a spacious, you know, like you start to hallucinate more, I guess I would say. So let's see. Ian Beasley asks, when you clock off at work, leave work-related problems there. When people ask, how was your day at work? Don't take the bait. Yep. Yeah, good point.
I hate talking about work with anybody outside of work.
Yeah.
Don't fucking ask me about work when I'm not there. Don't ask me when I am there.
Yeah. You know, here's the thing. We've been divorced. I don't mean me and you. We've been divorced from our work and career. So it's not like it was 100, 200, 300 years ago, you know, where part of your identity, in a good way, not in a negative, like materialistic way, part of your identity was your, you know, what you did for your livelihood. And 90% of people, that was farming on some level, you know, and working on a farm, depending upon the style of farm and how, you know, how big it is and all that, that's definitely a full-time plus job. You know, you're talking 50, 60 hours a week, especially in certain times of year, like harvest season, planting season. If it's dairy, you got to get up at like 3, 4 in the morning to milk shit. It's not like, people don't realize, they're like, oh, this 40-hour work week thing, this is so hard. Like who's, you know, no, motherfucker, if you were living the archaic way, like, trust me, no one's forcing you to work more than you would be if you were working, you know, in a more subsistence farming lifestyle like most people did. You didn't have a lot of free time as a farmer, you know. You have some, obviously, but you didn't have a lot. And you certainly couldn't go on vacation because if you're not there for a week, everything dies, you know. The
free time is very seasonal.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not farmers. We're in a nursery business, but it is so seasonal.
Yep.
You know, we have a taste of what that might be like.
A little taste, especially,
Taste. I mean, we don't get up nearly as early or anything, but the fact remains, it's some freaking long hours. Yeah.
And it's a very physical job and all that. So, yeah, working in agriculture, you know, is what everybody did. Everybody was some sort of a subsistence farmer living on their own land. And even if you had, like, there's a video I saw talking about people living in the 1800s. You go back to the 1800s, people would own a farm and a general store. So you'd get up at 4 in the morning, milk the cows, get the thing, have your kids set up the day of the farm. You know, that's why you have a big family. That's another reason why you have like 10 kids. And then you'd go to your general store and put on the general store hat and run that all day, and then come home and potentially have to do farm stuff. So, you know, we're talking full days. We're talking, so even if you weren't just a farmer, you were still primarily doing agriculture for a lot. Now, why is that important? Because you weren't working for some dickhead boss with a supervisor and a bunch of coworkers that were just there for the money. The context was very different. You know, think about working in your own garden. Do you sit there and go, I don't know how many of you guys garden, but do you sit there and go, oh, fuck, I don't want to have to do that? Don't get me wrong. There would be days you just don't want to do it. It's hard work, all that. But you don't necessarily have some supervisor with 10 TPS reports, you know, due next week that is going to get you an eval rating and all. It's nothing like this bureaucratic garbage that people live in today. People aren't meant to live that way. We're just not. We didn't evolve that way. And the bird is really chatty. I might have to put her away. She's being cute as hell, though. I don't want to put her away. So I don't know, guys. Vote me up or down. Bird in or out. I know she's chirping because she wants attention. She doesn't want to be left alone. Come here, sweetie. Come here. Come here.
I don't know you.
Yeah, I don't know you.
Hers.
She's quite the little peckerhead. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Benny Jetson says, has anyone here seen The Void? That is a fantastic movie.
That is a great movie.
I love that movie. It is such a great Lovecraft style.
Yeah.
You know?
That was an accidental find on my part. I just saw it and said, hey, let me give it a shot.
I think it's because it's got that cool triangle in the logo, you know? Like, and it actually has pretty realistic ritual symbolism in it, too. If you look, they have a conjuration circle and everything. Pretty well researched. They did a pretty good job on that movie. Yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways... So as a non-dualist, I have a very strong mystical philosophy that underlies everything. But when it comes to my mythos or my preference of myth to use for symbolism, there are a couple that I shift in and out of all the time. One of them is Lovecraft-themed stuff. My own take on it, of course. I started off with like Nyarlathotep and Yog-Sothoth and all of that. Now I'm starting to develop my own ways of looking at them, you know, diverging from the myth, you know. My other one is like what I would call a non-dual form of Gnostic Luciferianism. That's another favorite of mine. And there's a good reason for that, which maybe I'll talk about a little bit in this stream. And then everything else is just sort of a splicing of different themes, you know, that sort of fit, you know. But first and foremost is always going to be the mystical foundation, that non-dual foundation. That's always the most important component, because it's sort of like quantum physics, if you will. It's the underlying substrate of everything that I do. So everything else is just sort of a way of expressing that, a theme, if you will. And The Void resonates a lot with my more Lovecraft side. A lot. A whole fucking lot. So that's why I love that movie. And it's got good stuff in it. Mm-hmm. So
there was that other one we watched too. I can't remember the name of it, but they were divers they were deep sea divers. Remember that one?
What, The Abyss?
Was it The Abyss?
Probably not. What was it, like horror?
Yeah.
Well, there's Deep Star 6. That's an oldie with like a...
No, it was more recent.
Oh.
We watched it. It was there were deep sea divers and they were fixing something, and there was a big creature down there. Or was that just a dream I had?
There was a space movie with a weird Leviathan monster that they were fighting that sucked. I remember that.
No, that one sucked. I wouldn't recommend that.
I don't know. I probably forgot. I don't think you're wrong. I think I forgot. It's more likely that I forgot.
It was pretty decent. I'm not good with movie names.
No, I'm not good with names, period. So it's like, you're way better than I am. I usually ask you. So if you don't know, we're fucked, guys. We don't know. Adversarial Self says, the bird stays. Hard exclamation point. I agree. Bird's staying for now. She's doing some naughty shit. She just flew onto, yeah, she's on my backpack. I don't know what she's doing.
She likes that lately, I think because it's green.
Yeah, and it gives her like a little shelter, you know, like she's still coming out of her hormonal phase, so you know, she's looking for places to make nests and stuff. So
we have a super chat.
We do. Okay. Let me work down to that, and let's just make sure. I just want to make sure I don't lose my place. Slowed and Reverb asks, do you know anyone that works with Aphrodite or Petitions Her? I can answer this quick. That's why I'm getting to this one first. Personally, no. Unless you consider Lucifer, you know, to be of a similar spectrum to Aphrodite, in which case, then yes. They are definitely, they're not the same, but they have a similar archetype behind them. Not the same archetype, but there's some similarities. So, but no, I've never worked with Aphrodite, and I don't know anyone who has, but, you know, there's a lot you can research very easily with YouTube. That's the good thing. So, and Benny Jetson asks, how's my rituals been going as of late? I haven't been doing many rituals lately. Not as rituals. I do other things. Like, I don't need rituals for 90% of what I do. I use rituals more as like performance art, you know, for my own benefit, or for the benefit of something like energy or intention or whatever. Sometimes it's just a good way to do a spiritual colon cleanse, if you will. It kind of like gets your blockages out, you know, when you're doing something intentional like a ritual. But for me, a ritual, if you want to call it that, can just be grabbing my you know, my staff and going for a walk and just doing what I feel compelled to do. Draw a circle on the ground, you know, start talking to a spirit, you know, very chaos magic oriented, you know, very in the moment, drawing sigils in dirt and scratching them out, stuff like that. It's not usually big stuff. I just don't have the need lately. You know, I've been sort of working on this other way of doing magic that is more intuitive, which I'm writing the book about in part. You know, it's going to include that. So let me go there. All right, so let's go to that super chat, and then we'll work our way back up. So you want to read the super chat for us, my darling?
Sure.
And thank you, Lilith, by the way. That's a very generous super chat. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Lilith, 1984, 50 pound, which is considerable, especially
thank you very much.
Age. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Completely off topic, but I keep having sexual encounters with entities. It's amazing, but so energy draining. It happened last night. It happens 5 out of 7 nights a week, and Lilith is my patron. Has anyone else experienced this?
Any comment from the wifey gallery, or should I dive in?
I'm gonna say no. I've never experienced that. The most I experienced at night while sleeping is sleep paralysis. And that used to happen a lot more than it does now.
Yep. Okay, so there's a lot going on here, and I'll try to break it down in a way that makes sense. The other day I did a Facebook post, actually, where I was sort of mocking the LARPers who talk about spirits like they're their best friend, imaginary friend, emotional support demons, that it's all cutesy and sweet. And, you know, we all know that there is a fine line between being in a personal relationship with a spirit versus some lunatic who just watched some anime has never practiced magic before. They light a candle to a spirit and suddenly they're the chosen one and they get, you know. So I want to preface this by saying I mock that. I don't necessarily mock when people have sincere and, shall we say, sacred relationships with different spirits. I am not a theist. I am actually very vehemently against certain forms of theism. Now, is it okay to devote to be devotional to the divine? Of course it is. That's you. Okay, the divine is you. You are divine consciousness manifesting as this, but you're also manifesting as everything else. You just don't know it because you're in a state of avidya or ignorance. You don't realize that you are that. And when I say that, I don't mean stuff. Okay? There is no such thing as a soda can. The soda can is just an appearance or manifestation of consciousness that you recognize as a soda can. Why is that important? The spirits are no different. My wife and I, when we're here in this incarnate state, even as a non-dualist with a very strong non-dual perspective, for the most part, we acknowledge each other as separate beings. But deep inside my conscious self, I know that I'm talking to another side of myself when I'm talking to my wife. That I am conscious of myself, and that's what this is. Now, why do I say that? Because you need that fundamental perspective to help you navigate working with spirits, because otherwise you can end up in a draining or submissive theistic worshipful position with them. They should be respected, and you're allowed to venerate them. I do encourage veneration and devotion, you know, but I don't encourage submission in the sense of like Christian submission, like, oh, Lord God, you're greater than me, please save me, all that shit. No. As a Luciferian, even if I wasn't a non-dualist, as a Luciferian, I'd be like, no, fuck that. Okay? The Bible even tells you you are higher than any spirit. Okay? If you're a Christian or a former Christian, you may recall, we as being, you know, and I'm not a Christian, I'm just saying, because most people listening are from a Western Christian background. You are made in God's image. You are. Why am I saying that? Well, because it's in every tradition to understand that you're not just some lowly little thing that's supposed to bend over backwards for spirits and worship them like they're superior to you, but you can have a very venerable relationship with them. And yes, that can include sexual, intimacy, emotional relationships. I tend to caution people away from them, though, because very often the person who's doing it is inexperienced in these things. It's not a sacred relationship, and it can be toxic and self-deluding, especially if you're not careful. If you don't have strong boundaries, you can get drained. And you may not even know you're being drained. And I'm not even saying that the spirit is like a willful evil fucker. Even a spirit that's benevolent, you can end up just pouring so much energy into them, you know, you can surrender yourself to it and pour so much of yourself into it. That's not good. That's not good. It's not. You're not special for having that relationship. You might even be dealing with a parasite taking on the form of a spirit that you trust. I leave that up to you to decide, but that's a really good possibility. It's a very strong possibility. Now, being a left-hand path practitioner, you can work with parasites if you know how. If you are fully enlightened, if you know what you are, you know that they can't drain you. What you are can't be hurt by this. What you are is divine consciousness. What can get screwed up is your mind. Your mind can get diluted by this stuff if you're not careful. Okay, what you are is immortal. It cannot be harmed. Okay? You are the parasite as much as you are the victim, because you are the non-dual divine. That's what you are. Manifesting is all of this. So, when you, the person, which is just a figment of your own imagination if you understand what's really going on, is being parasitized by another entity, that's your own doing. You're doing that to you. Nothing is draining you. You are draining yourself. You are squeezing it out of yourself, if you will. You have a choice. Always. No spirit can make you do anything. I don't care what your superstitious friends say. I've been around this game for over, yes, there was a period that I wasn't doing it for about 12, 15 years, maybe a little longer. But pretty much since I was 13 or so. I have been working in this stuff diligently. So when I tell you that I've been on both sides of this conversation where the spirits are destroying me, and now I'm telling you they can't. It's not even a matter of you're just stronger than them. And no, you are literally dreaming all of this, and the dreamer is the ultimate being. There's nothing in a dream that can hurt the dreamer or control the dreamer for that matter. So as a non-dualist, using the metaphor of dreaming, because it's very close, you have to imagine that this reality is a dream in the mind of God, and you are that dreaming God, dreaming this all, and you've come to incarnate as this, and as my wife, and as my bird, and as you, and even as the parasitical spirit. It's all you. It's Leela. It's the game of Brahman. And part of that game has winners and losers and pain and pleasure and draining and not being drained. But when you transcend that delusion, it's literally like no spirit can offend you. Get behind me, Satan. Or as the Buddha integrated the, oh, what the hell? The names of the demons. It starts with an M. I can't think of it. This is how it is. When you reach a certain level, it is literally, I think it was Crowley said something like, you know, if you're worried about evil spirits, you literally just tap a log 3 times and say, be gone. It is that simple. It really is. You know how many times, I don't tell my wife this, you know how many times I go to bed, especially after a little assistance, and I know there's a presence in the room that isn't necessarily being friendly, and I just smile and laugh and say, that is fucking cool. It doesn't scare me anymore. It might make me jump. Like if something falls, and my heart's gonna, I'll feel fear, but I'm not scared. I'm excited. I'm like, woo, confirmation. This is awesome. I've seen shit moving around the bedroom. Like, you know, so things that should scare me, but they don't. In fact, I'll be nice. I'll be like, look, I give you total permission to be in my house, providing you accept certain rules. Mm-hmm. Nothing you do can actually harm, but you can be as playful with us as you want. Don't harm anything living here. Don't harm a loved one. Don't do any of that shit, but you are welcome here, and we will treat you with respect and dignity, and we will laugh at your jokes when they're good jokes. Like the other night, what happened with the door in the bedroom?
Yeah, we have stuff behind the door in the bedroom, and it's all stable. There was no reason for it to fall over, and the whole fucking stack tipped over.
Yep.
And slammed the door shut.
It slammed. It was like kablowy. Fleshy was playing games with us too. He heard the whole thing. It was hysterical.
Yeah.
I wish we had that on film, because that was awesome. Because there's no reason for that shit to have fallen. It's stable. It's been there for like a year the way it was. So, and we've been hitting it with the door and what's that?
It's been longer.
I think it probably has. That's all our storable food behind that door. So it's like, it's been there for at least.
It's all in plastic bins that are freaking thick and stacked.
Yeah.
They're stable. They're flat. It's not like they're broken, or it's not cardboard where it's like caving in on a side.
No, it's pretty stable.
There's no reason for it.
It's very stable, and there's things in the way. So it really happened in a way that was just really like, that was a, like, yeah, you could say, oh, it was the box that slammed the door. Okay, what pushed the box over then, genius? Yeah. You know? Especially in that moment. No one had gone through that door in like an hour or two.
At least.
Yeah. So it just happened out of the
started
blue.
gaming at like 9 o'clock, and I believe it was around 11.
Mm-hmm. So that can be actually a parasitical spirit as well, because it's getting your attention.
Yeah.
And if you feel a little bit of fear, they can feed off of that, especially shadows and shit.
And
So
honestly, with all this talking that we're doing about this, I'm pretty certain that's why I don't get sleep paralysis anymore, because, I mean, when I was younger, it used to scare me. The not breathing, not moving, being fully aware of everything. But it's like, all right, just wiggle your toes, you'll get through it. Start with your toes and work on your fingers, and then it eases up and it stops scaring me. And I think that's why I don't get it anymore.
by the way, quick shout out. I'm going to come back to the topic. Quick shout out to Y-Files, my favorite YouTube channel right now. I fucking love Y-Files. If you don't watch Y-Files, I love that channel.
Yeah.
Guy's got a deep ass Long Island accent. He's either from Jersey or from New York. I don't know what. Fucking love that channel.
I'm sure he's from New York.
Mm-hmm.
We do have the Hecklefish plushie coming sometime soon. It was on.
We're like total nerds for this guy.
And it talks.
It's a great channel. All right.
So happy.
So, having sexual relationships or encounters with entities is a valid form of practice within reason. If you're, it's traditional. It's found historically. You can even invite spirits to, participate by, shall we say, I don't like to use the word possession because that's kind of got a negative vibe, although I do use it. We'll say you can allow your partner to invoke the spirit into them and allow the spirit to participate that way as a form of channeling, possession, whatever. It's a very valid way to do things. Okay. I myself have had spiritual entities that have sexual proclivities and stuff. And, that's personal. So there won't be any conversation about it specifically, but people can make pacts with, say, Asmodee or Lilith and get succubi, incubi, familiars. And different familiars can feed better off of different energies. My main familiar, which is Nicodemus, once a month during a full moon requires a small blood sacrifice, a couple drops of blood, gratitude, and peace. It gets put in his box, and rests. Or I take him for something fun, right? I do something with him. Usually it's put him in a box lately because I haven't been as active. Once in a blue moon I've missed, and by the way, this is a blue moon month, so he's getting 2 this month. Once in a blue moon, I will forget, and then I got to make up for it because I'll usually, maybe he won't come as quick, or something like weird pranks will start happening around the house and shit goes missing. And, sometimes it's like, I wonder if that's why. You know what? I better just, let me just give him some blood. There we go. Okay,
is that why I couldn't find that gift card?
Possibly.
I don't know. All of a sudden it turned up like a month later.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I haven't been firing on all cylinders as much until recently, until the last maybe 6 months again, because of just the traumatizing effect of watching the goings on of the world, which that's a deep shadow trauma for me, for reasons that some of you understand. It's not just politics to me, the things that are going on, because I know too much. When you know a lot about what's going on in the world, and I don't know as much as some people, don't get me wrong, but when you cross a certain threshold, you don't watch the news and the bickering online the same way other people do. It's got a completely different paradigm. When you can look at somebody's Facebook post and know that they're parroting a talking point from someone from a group that means to destroy you and your way of life, you don't sit there and go, I hate this person. You're frustrated with the person that they're so dumb that they're falling for the propaganda. You don't, or you might make you hate them. But my point is like, I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at how dumb you are for falling for the propaganda and parroting it and being so brainwashed. Well, that's a form of parasite. That's a form of parasite. You're not thinking for yourself. You're following a herd. You're following propaganda. That's another kind of parasite.
I mean, not for nothing, that's like the influencer ads.
Oh, huh?
For example, the Wednesday dance, and now
Yep.
it's Now it's the Barbie thing where they take their shoes off and continue walking like they have the Barbie feet.
Yeah, like flat little feet.
Yeah, on their tiptoes.
Oh, on their tiptoes. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just all that bullshit.
I mean, you guys know that they pay these influencers to start these trends, and then they help them go viral using their influence over these big tech companies, right? Like when you're watching all the little thoughts doing the Wednesday dance, that's not because a bunch of people suddenly decided, ooh, this is the coolest thing. I watched the Wednesday dance. It wasn't that impressive, dude. Go to a goth club. You'll see shit way better than that.
All of a sudden the influx of the hipster yoga pants wearing chick saying, I always identified as Wednesday.
Yeah, right, sure.
No.
Sure. You're a poser.
It's like, no.
If you don't get looked at walking around when you're getting milk from the supermarket like you're the Undertaker or you're Morticia, don't at me with, oh, I've always been this. No, you haven't.
No.
You're just trending.
Braids and a black dress does not make you Wednesday.
Nope, that too. Yeah.
It's more the psychological, you know what I mean.
Nope, but I'll just assume
the mental aspect of it.
The mental aspect of it. Yeah. Yeah. If you don't have a little bit of that attitude, you know, like, I don't know. But yeah, all right. So hopefully that answers your question well enough, Lilith. If you have any follow-up with that, since you donated so generously, if you have anything else you want us to answer, or if you have another, you know, if you have anything that you want us to respond to about that issue, you know, by all means, go ahead and let us know. All right. Alpha's been saying some nice stuff. Zach's here. He says, what's up, guys and girls? Are you doing live tonight as well? No, that's sort of the point. We're doing this today. You know, which is going to be sad for my evening crowd, but I sort of decided, you know what, it's either I spend the day, you know, doing nothing, or I spend the night doing nothing, you know, and sometimes having something hang over my head like a live stream can actually hit my ADHD. For those of you who have ADHD, I'm learning all my triggers now. I didn't know all of this shit. I started researching. I'm like, so all of these weird traits that I have, they're not just me. It's a clinical diagnosis. Mm-hmm. You know, like when I have something I have to do later, if it's hanging over my head, I can't concentrate.
I was going to say, if it's a knife hanging over your head, then it's like all of a sudden you can click into it. Like, how many times have I said, joking around, because we didn't have anything to do, but to inspire you to write, I'd say, okay, honey, we're going to leave in an hour.
And then all of a sudden I want to write.
Yep.
But all day up until that hour, I can't. So I could get up at 8 in the morning and Kamila and I have to go to the supermarket at 4. The whole day is ruined.
Yeah. I
can't do anything, you know, because I keep feeling like, oh, I got this much time. I don't have to write yet. I'll put it off.
Yeah.
And then I'll get distracted. But really, it's like an anxiety. And then like an hour before, yes, then suddenly inspiration hits and I got to write.
It is a very troublesome feeling when you feel like your whole day is shot when you have to leave for just half an hour.
Mm-hmm.
I am the exact same way, where I will get up at, I don't know, 6 o'clock on my day off because I'm sick, and take a shower and have my coffee and play with the animals and sit down on the couch, and oh, I have to leave the house at 4, so let me just pick up my phone and play a mobile game all day because I have to leave, and not right now, but 6 hours from now. So if I get into something, I'm going to have to stop. So what's the point?
And I got to say with ADHD, these things are the literal devil.
Yeah.
Like, fuck these things. I swear to God, there's going to come a point where I'm going to switch back to an old flip phone and keep this on a shelf and only use it when I need it, because these things are the worst. And I don't even use mine as much as some people do. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, I use it much less than a lot of people that I see around me, and I'm still overdoing it. Like, I know I am. I feel it. Like, and it just, the dopamine is destructive. It's just horrible. So there's another vampire for you.
The absolutely only reason I want a smartphone still is because our son is not home and I can FaceTime him to see him.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would not bother.
Yeah. Alpha's here. What's up, Alpha? She's agreeing with us as usual. She tends to agree with us a lot.
Mm-hmm. We do
What's
have
up,
another
Alpha?
super chat, and I
Yeah.
did see Quincy was in the chat as well.
Oh, Quincy's here. What's up, Quincy?
And Sinister Jinx.
Sinister Jinx. What's up, Sinister Jinx?
And Christian Helnakainen.
Christian's here. What's up, brother? I don't know if you got my response on Fabu, but fuck Facebook and fuck their censorship. Yep. Fuck them. Fuck them. Fuck YouTube and its censorship. Fuck censorship in general. It's one thing if you've got like standards where you don't put porn up. That's not censorship, in my opinion. That is like public square curation. Like that makes sense. But when you have rules that say you can't talk about X because it offends our politicians, or they're okay. So they're saying, I don't want to get into this too much because this is a little too deep. But Canada just basically made it so Facebook won't allow Canadians to see news on Facebook. You can't share it. You can't talk about it. Very draconian, very authoritarian. Their excuse is it has something to do with the profits of these companies. They're not making money because of what, something bullshit like that. But really it's about controlling the narrative, because over the next couple of years, the New World Order is going to get its fucking shit pushed in by pissed off people. They're going to start, like, there's too much independent journalism, too much, pushback going on. So they're trying everything they can desperately to silence opposition to their bullshit. And one of the ways they're going to do that is to make it so it's harder to get your information through social media, because social media has been their Achilles heel this whole time. Every time we have dialogue on social media that is contrary to their establishment uniparty beliefs and what they're trying to push on us, it damages them more than people realize. People are always like, well, what can I do? It's just me. Motherfucker, you don't even realize what one meme in the right place at the right time can do. One meme has a lot. Why do you think they made laws in Europe about memes? Because memes are devastating to them.
Yep.
News sources, alternate news
That's
is
why they
devastating.
want to outlaw Pepe.
That's right. So all of this is devastating to them. It's devastating. They're not winning because of it. It's one of the biggest avenues of damage that it's one of the biggest weaknesses they have. And there's nothing they can do about it. Because when they do, people sit there and they get red pilled because they're like, wait a minute, why are you censoring shit? Okay, it's misinformation. So we'll correct it. And we don't need your little nanny waggling finger telling us what misinformation is. We don't need that either, because you're lying when you do that half the time. And when you're not lying, it still doesn't matter, because you tend to only correct shit that disrupts your chosen narrative. You don't correct when people say Trump is a Russian agent. You don't correct when people question, whether it's a good idea or not to allow vaccine conversations. You only correct and stifle, for the most part. I'm not saying it's all one-sided. It's probably like 80-20. 80% of their censorship is stuff that is, well, actually 100% of it is always against what hurts them.
Can I tell you a secret? I've said it before. I want to tell everyone at home a secret. If it is being censored and fact-checked, that means it's true. It's
probably almost 100% true. Absolutely. There was a video that I was just starting to watch, and I didn't have time because it was an hour long, talking about the Anunnaki and the origin of Yahweh. So I'm going to watch that later. But big fucking disclaimer under it from YouTube. The Anunnaki myth is just a blah, 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 blah. Like, why? What? Excuse me? Why is it only this shit that, like, why are you correcting that? If it's so ludicrous, you don't need to correct it.
There was one the other day.
Methinks you protest too much.
There was one the other day on Facebook where the potato in chief was bumbling, saying bullshit as always, and they fact-checked it so that to try to make it seem like it wasn't what was going on, but it's very clearly what he was saying in the video. Was that the secret information one where he's like, I've been selling secrets? It might have been. Like yeah. It might have been. It was something along those lines, but it was, oh no, the fact check says it didn't really happen this way. It's like he just openly said it. Mm-hmm. How can you fact check something that he openly said to the world? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, like I said, I don't want to get too divisively political, but let me be brutally honest with you right now. I don't care if you're left or right. Like, you don't have to like Trump or hate him. But if you're establishmentarianism, like if you're an establishment person, if you think Biden's good or Romney's good, if you think if you think the system is okay, you're fucking stupid. If you call me a conspiracy theorist right now, you're fucking stupid. And I mean that like as harshly as I can say it. Like, you deserve to be slapped right now. If you can go through the last 3 or 4 years and not recognize that the New World Order is 100% real in some form, like, sure, you could say it's not the Illuminati, it's not, whatever. If you can't see the WEF, if you can't see Bilderberg, if you're so in a fucking deluded state, okay, I will make an exception for one group of people who just don't want to look because it's just too painful. I get it. Like, I'm going to be a little softer on you. Like, if you're just ignorant because you just got to work all day and you just want to be left alone, like you believe it's probably true, but it's not. I get it. I don't think that's right, but I get it. I understand it completely. It sucks. It hurts. It's traumatic. The division. Yes.
I do understand that. I've been there.
Yeah.
I've lost sleep over this shit.
Yeah. We've lost friends.
I lost sleep over a video about them saying that they were going to be militarizing the Boy Scouts. And some of that stuff is hyperbolic nonsense. Families, you know, like the Nazi children.
So some of that stuff is hyperbolic mania that's not true, and it requires discernment, and that's partially what keeps you up at night. Is this true? Is it not? Let me research. And it's a pain in the ass.
At the same time, when you think about it, they were trying to push that with kids in school. Squealing on their families for having a party during the COOF pandemic.
Yep. And this is the thing I'm getting at. Like, I don't care if you're left or right. If we share the same enemy, we need to stop being divided by petty bullshit issues by like 10% of society. 10% of society has been triggered into extremism, either left or right. They've been triggered into all gays must die and all Christians must die. No, YouTube, I'm not saying that that's what I think. I'm using that as a quote. There's about 10, maybe 20% of the population that is that crazy right now. And they're dragging everybody into this, you know, rainbow flag versus crucifix situation that's not fucking important right now. The average person doesn't care about that shit, but they're being distracted by it so you don't see what they're doing. And it's not working, by the way, because there's enough. I can get into that. I don't really want to get into that too deep right now. But so you have this fucking issue. If you're this fucking stupid that you're going along with this, or you're one of these people, the white patriarchies, and if you or the gays, if you're one of these people, you're dead already. Okay, I don't mean like you're gonna necessarily be killed, although you might. You're psychically dead already. You're already a casualty. You're already a zombie. You are already a zombie that has been bitten, turned into a zombie, and now you are part of the problem. And you need to fucking stop. If you can sit there with a straight face and be like, all conservatives are bad and I hate them and they should all die, you're garbage. If you're like, all leftists are this and that, you're garbage. Because not all leftists, not all conservatives. I disagree with a lot of people and they're not garbage. We need to stop. You need to stop. You listening to me right now need to fucking stop, and you need to reach out to people that are reasonable. Don't try to argue with ideologues anymore. They're dead. Psychically dead. Ignore them. They don't matter much longer. You need to find people that share a fundamental understanding of what's important in life and come to a new covenant with them, a new social covenant with them. Like, look, we're going to put aside some of these petty issues, like what bathrooms people get to use and shit like that. We're going to put that dumb shit aside, and we're going to ignore that, and we're going to focus on the people who are censoring people, the people that are trying to destroy the food supply, the people that are trying to destroy the energy supply, the people that are trying to literally herd you into dystopian nightmare fuel cities and situations that you don't want to be in. And it's time to stop being dumb. And you know, skepticism is good, but skepticism can be a dogma. If you're a dogmatic skeptic, that means you just don't believe in anything. You won't even entertain the possibility. You believe only in the authorities that say that this is true and that's not true. You're dead psychically. There is no mind left there. If you don't you know where you should be applying your skepticism? Not to me. I mean, yes, you should. I don't mean it like absolute. Yes, of course you should be skeptical of what I'm saying. But instead of focusing your skepticism on people like me, you should be focusing your skepticism on the system, on the people telling you what's right and wrong, true and false. It's confirmed that the health organizations lied all through 2020. It's confirmed that so much shit is a lie, and they're still covering for it. They're still censoring the truth when it comes out. So I'm a little, yes, I'm heated about this. I'm going to be honest. I am heated about this because I'm tired of stupid people deciding my fate. I'm tired of stupid, blind, ignorant zombies deciding my future because some fucking YouTube, CBS, CNN video said that white supreme pizzas are trying to take over the planet, Christian nationalists and all this. Fuck you, you're dumb. Don't buy into that dumb shit. Just like I was dumb for buying into the whole all leftists are bad. Okay? I don't believe that anymore. Yes, I disagree with like communism, but I don't think you're the devil, and I don't think you're an authoritarian unless you're an authoritarian.
And just because they have the bullhorn does not put them in the majority. That's
the other thing, yes. The media and big tech has been putting the spotlight on crazy people on both sides to make it look like that's the norm. So if you watch CNN, you think everybody on the right is a Bible-thumping conservative that wants to have black people put back into slavery and all gay people put into a meat grinder and all. No, motherfucker, no. And if you're on the right, all you see all day is everybody on the left is trans and gay and bad and they all want to take your money and they're just greedy, selfish. No, they're not. No, they're not. The extremists are on both sides. Yes, those are the extremes, and that's 10% maybe, 20% tops, and I'm being generous. Go walk down the road. How many of those people do you run into? How many trans people do you know that literally want to read inappropriate books to children? I've never met one. Every trans person I've ever met was fucking awesome, almost without exception. Totally lucid to the fact that there's a line between being yourself and grooming children. Nobody with a right mind equates that shit. So I won't stand for it if you think all trans people are groomers, nor will I stand for it if you think that grooming is okay. I won't do it anymore. I'm not going to walk on eggshells anymore for clicks and for approval from asswipes in the internet. Fuck you, I don't care. Call me what you want, I'm tired of it. There's certain issues that you're not impressing anybody by being edgy about. You're not being cool by saying little kids should be fine at burlesque drag shows putting money in G-strings. But you're also not cool if you think all trans people are like that, or that that's even a thing that's widespread. Does it happen? Of course it happens. But it also happens the other way, doesn't it, sweetie?
Oh, yeah.
Human trafficking isn't unique to any group.
No.
Grooming is not unique to any group. Perverts are everywhere. Hello, tall man. Everywhere.
Yep.
You're probably a pervert on some level too, just not in that way. We all got our perversions and deviancies.
Pervert just depends on what severity.
Well, I don't think perversion is necessarily a bad word. I use that as a cutesy word, you know. Like a real pervert is a predator, right? That's what I'm like when I say. So I'm using pervert in the more cutesy way. What I'm mad about aren't perverts. I'm mad about predators, groomers, pedophiles, shit like that. And why are they making that such a big issue? So you don't look at the bigger issues. I'm making a big deal of it now like an idiot after just telling you it's not a big deal. You know what I mean? So I'm falling for it too, being totally honest here. But that's not the issue. The issue is what they're doing. Their persecution, their censorship. That's the issue. And if you don't have the discernment by now, after 3 or 4 years of this fucking clown show, you're a lost cause. You don't count. In the coming shift that's coming, the paradigm shift that's ongoing, the timeline split, whatever words you like to use for it, the 3D to 5D consciousness. If you're still down there in 3D, split up and not seeing humans as your fellow beings, as consciousness, if you're not realizing we're being divided and we need to stop. Look, I tend to be an early adopter of good ideas. So I'm okay with the idea that I'm ahead of the curve. But if you're still way back there in dum-dum land where you think this is just partisanship and just a billionaire wants to be president to become a nationalist or something, you're stupid as fuck. If you think it's just Biden, you're stupid as fuck. You need to get with the program. You need to wake up. And I'm not going to talk nicely to those people because they're dragging us into a pit of hell. If those people aren't pushed aside and rational, smart, well-intended, sincerely compassionate people don't start peacefully, at least right now, rising up and saying no more, it's not going to stop. And being a keyboard warrior isn't that useful. When I get online, I'm more about raising awareness about an issue than bickering with ideologues that don't agree with me and trolling people. I do that for fun on the side as a vampire, yes, but that's not how I make change. I make change by having these conversations with people nicely, as best I can. That's why I got mad when the politics channel on Discord blew up, because it just got too ugly too fast. It's not what I wanted. I wanted to have nice conversations about this and reach people, come to consensus.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, baby bird. Mwah.
Real quick, we did have a super chat.
Did we? I missed it.
Little
Could you?
ago. I can read it.
Thank you.
This is from Adversarial Self with a 10 spot.
Okay.
Could you speak on sacrificing the self to the self like Odin did when he hung himself from
Yggdrasil.
Yggdrasil. Yeah.
Yggdrasil. Gotta roll them R's.
My stuttering kind of took over.
Okay, so yes and no. I am not on the Norse path. I've dipped my pinky into it and tasted it a few times. It's not really my path. I'm more of an eclectic than anything. But I'll say this. What you're talking about is basically ego death. Fundamentally, we're talking about a form of ego death. Stylistically represented in that cultural context. So Odin sacrificing himself, he gains mystical wisdom and knowledge beyond anything. In every tradition, there is a deity often very central to the pantheon or to the religion that is died and is reborn. It's a recurring element in every tradition, and they're usually a central character. They're either the main deity, one of the main deities, or they're very important. Sometimes you have multiple that do this. You'll note that, for example, in the Greek pantheon, all of the Olympians were devoured by Saturn and then freed by Zeus. Cronus, excuse me. Devoured by Cronus and then freed by Zeus. Meaning they were all basically dead. They were devoured. They went through the underworld, so to speak. They were devoured and then came back. They were restored. And that's not the only one. You have, Persephone, Demeter, Hades. That whole mythology is one of the best, which is the core of the Eleusinian mysteries. If you learn about the Eleusinian mysteries, you're learning about a ritualized practice where people would go through ego death by way of ritual, using Kikion, a potion that basically has probably almost, I'm going to say, my opinion is 100% was a psychedelic, but maybe it wasn't. You have the Dionysian rituals. mysteries, which they used alcohol, probably Kikion as well, and they went through another underworld style thing. You'll see this death and rebirth theme, sacrifice to the self. Osiris. Every culture has this story. Every single one. And it's always at the center of their more mystical tradition. Odin is a badass. He's almost, I know a lot of people want to say Loki is the Lucifer of that because it's edgy, it's dark. Odin's closer to Lucifer in so many ways. I'm not saying he is Lucifer, by the way. I'm just saying as an archetype, he's closer in most ways. But so is Loki, you know? The Norse pantheon doesn't have a very clear delineation like you have in some other traditions, which is another reason why it's cool, because they're more personal. They're more shall we say, human in that capacity. They're not, you know, they're not relegated to a star or a sun or a planet or something. They're, you know, and they're only this. They have a more fleshed out persona, right? But you can easily equate them to their given planets. You know, Thor. Who's Thor? Anybody want to guess who Thor would be? Who's Thor in comparative mythology? If you read the mythology of Thor, it's almost identical to who? Zeus. Almost identical. Obviously, there's cultural differences, but they have some of the same stories. And this happens in every culture. There's an equal. There's an equivalent, which tells you this all comes from a proto-culture. Could be Proto-Indo-European. It could be, you know, Mesopotamian. Probably Atlantis. It's probably where it really comes from. And it works its way to us now. And it's split through the different cultures and through the different motifs. And that's how you get all the different world religions. None of them are right. None of them are wrong. They all share a similar substrate. So sacrificing the self to the self, you want to do that. It's real easy. It's not hard. Meditate. Meditation is the simplest form of ego death. It's the easiest and safest. It just takes practice. You want a quicker method? Use some cheminosis. You can meditate with a little bit of cannabis and use the right techniques, and you can get quicker depth than just meditation alone. I'm not endorsing it. I'm just telling you that's a possibility. You could do psychedelics, and that could be instant. You do the right one the right way. It could be your first try. Bang, you get ego death. You see basically God and know that it's you. You know, ayahuasca ritual. So you don't have to hang yourself from a tree upside down, gouge your eye out, and stab yourself. You don't have to be nailed to a cross like Jesus. You don't have to be like Persephone and go to the underworld and eat pomegranate seeds. You don't have to do any of that stuff. Those are all metaphors and myths meant to enlighten you, meant to teach you that it is possible to die and be reborn, to die while still alive, to die before you die. And in that, recognize this isn't what you are at all. This is just a mask. This is just a form consciousness is taking. Your consciousness, because consciousness doesn't go away. It doesn't stop. Your memories can go away. Your memories can be lost and forgotten. Consciousness never goes away. So you don't remember your past life. That doesn't mean you didn't experience it. You don't remember every dream you had last night. That doesn't mean you didn't dream. It doesn't mean you were not conscious just because you don't have conscious memory of being conscious. Get it? Consciousness is eternal. It doesn't go away. I know this because I've reached levels where I go, oh shit, I'm still here. But it's not me, DH Thorne. It's just consciousness. When I say consciousness, I don't mean just the faculty. I mean the being, the existence, Brahman, God, the divine. So Odin sacrificing himself to himself was literally his ego sacrificing itself to itself, finding out, oh shit, I'm just a bunch of thoughts, ideas, and words. I am really this divine eternity that never sleeps, never goes away, never dies. And from that gives you a connection to source, shall we say, using the Eckhart Tolle kind of language, or the monad, or the Ein Sof, or the Brahman, whatever your word for the divine is. It gives you a direct line to that because you no longer are limited to just this anymore. That doesn't mean you know everything. It just means you can tune into it and wisdom pours out of you effortlessly. You don't have to think about it. It just happens. If I seem wise to you, it's not because of my intellect, although that's an important part of how I communicate it. I don't come up with this shit by sitting there thinking. I come up with the words, with the metaphors by thought and by intellect. But the wisdom itself, I didn't learn that in a fucking book, and I didn't think it through and decide it. Most of the time, I'm sitting on the edge of my seat just intuitively channeling what sounds right. You guys don't even know that. Well, some of you do. You've been following me long enough. Shit just comes out of me. I'm like channeling all the time. But I'm channeling not a specific deity. I'm channeling consciousness, source, the divine. And I know when I've got a good connection. I can feel it. It's not just words. There's a poetry to it. There's an energy to it. There's a rationale to it. So sacrifice yourself to yourself. By all means, find a method that you feel comfortable with. And let me tell you, the meditative version is less traumatizing. The chemonastic style, you will feel like you killed yourself. At least that's according to what people tell. I haven't done the DMT method or any of that. I didn't have to. Doesn't mean I won't try it at some point, but you don't have to. And for me, it was like just gently being lowered into a body of water because I was already prepared for it. My intellect was already prepared for it. So when it happened, it didn't traumatize me. And you just get this forgetfulness of who you are. That's the easiest one I experienced, was literally I'm experiencing this wild, multi-dimensional sort of psychedelic trip in my own astral mind. Seeing animals and creatures and vistas and things that I cannot even explain to you. Seeing four-dimensional geometry, seeing colors that I can't describe anymore because they don't fit in my brain anymore. I don't know what they look like, but I know I saw them. And witnessing all this and then going, wait a minute, who am I? Like, it dawned on me to ask the question, oh fuck, I don't know. I guess it wasn't that important then. And I was just a presence of consciousness experiencing this stuff with no identity at all whatsoever. I was totally liberated from DH Thorne completely. So when I say I don't mean DH Thorne was liberated. I mean consciousness was my soul. There was still a piece of individuality because I didn't see the entire, there was still some localization going on, but there wasn't egoic localization. It was liberated localization. There was no attachment, shall we say. And I sat there, I'm going, who am I? I don't know. I guess I died. And I have to tell you, it wasn't verbal thinking. It was just, it was an awareness of what it's like to have a thought before the thought is manifest as a thought. That's a trippy thought. Most people can't handle that.
I have to read this comment to you.
Oh, go ahead.
The Order of the Black Dragon says, shit just comes out of DH like explosive poop.
Thank you, Order of the Black Dragon. I love the, yes, don't ever think that I am so sacred unto myself that I cannot look at things and laugh like that, because I love being irreverent about spirituality in a sacred way. I love to point out, like, that's why I'm left-hand path. That's why I'm closer to a Gori than I am to like a traditional Advaitin Hindu or something. Because I love to realize that your guts are full of shit. And it makes up a big piece of what you are as a body. I don't like to hide from that. I like to be aware of that. You know? The smelliest armpitted motherfucker who is the most disgusting pervert and predator. Yeah, that's divine too. Yeah. Isn't that fun to realize? That too is divine consciousness manifest. And that doesn't mean you tolerate it. It just means you accept that everything is divine, including your own shit that don't stink.
I'm going to segue into the next super chat that we have.
Okay.
This is from Alpha Draconian with the 499.
Okay.
She says, okay, you foot fetish freak DH, just joking with you. If y'all remember walking back from the club chat, great time.
Yeah, that was a good night, man. I want to do that night again. Like I want to have a repeat of that adventure. I'm noticing the chat ticked down from 30 to 15. Did a bunch of people lose the internet, or did I say something to piss people off? I don't know.
It's hard to say.
Yeah, exactly. Tough to say these days. People get triggered over dumb shit. Thorne doesn't agree with me. Let's get him canceled. Let's see. All right, let's go to the questions and comments that aren't super chatted. Let's see. The last one I have highlighted was the one that we did with the super chat for adversarial self. So let's go from there down. Let's see. Look for anything addressed to me or you. Vince is here. Vince says, and by the way, hello to other people we didn't say hi to. Dominic, would you rather own your own mountain or your own lake? It's a good question. I don't know how I can answer that. I can have both, can I? Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Sparky66 is here. Hey guys, good to see you all. Good to see you too. Let's see. Alexander C. What's up, Alexander C? Meme magic. Yes, indeed. Vince Casimir says, DH and Kamila, like to see you in information that you keep bringing and going forward with. Social media. No, I agree. Fuck social media. Use it. Don't let it use you. If you got a business, use it. If you don't, be very, very careful how you use it. If you use it to follow me, that's great. Keep doing that. But don't give them your soul, guys, please. Use a false name whenever possible.
I on Facebook very rarely.
Yeah, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all these are toxic shitholes, man. They're just bad. They're not your friend.
No.
You know, they're like the McDonald's of the internet. They're bad for you.
Lilith, pardon me. Lilith 1984. Sorry you had to go. Hope everything is well with you. She said, he or she says, they say, I'm sorry I have to go as I had a mini stroke a few days ago.
Aww.
I have to take my meds. Sending you both blessings of good health and happiness, and to everyone else on the stream, take care, everyone.
Aww.
We hope all is well. Sincerely.
Yeah. Well, that's terrible.
Yeah.
All right. Well, feel better, because I know, you know, I get bad migraines, and that's like having a stroke in some ways. Like I'll have like my vision just cloud up, and your father, you know, oh man, strokes are bad. So please take care of yourself. Take care of yourself right now, and be healed and get over it. And hopefully you don't lose any important functions, because that sucks.
Yeah.
Nepernicus says, just came in, lost it when I saw the title. Hilarious. Glad I'm finally able to make. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Yes, I do vaguely remember when Pepe was on Rachel Maddow too, by the way. The Witch of Darklight, what's up, sister? We got to have you back on. I just saw your chat heart. Hopefully you're still here. I know sometimes I tune in just to say hi and then take off. So if you did that, that's okay. But I want to catch up with you. I'm going to have another Iron Garden friend on next week, Lady D. So it'd be really cool to get you back on, you know, you or both you and Jabbar. That'd be really cool. We miss you guys. We missed you guys last time we went to the club too, by the way. We hope we see you next time. That'd be pretty cool.
You got another super chat.
Oh, okay. All right, hold on.
Yep.
Let's see. I want to catch up on some of these other chats. Yeah, Alpha Draconian says they want division between people, distractions. 100% right. 100% right. Fuck those motherfuckers. We've got to start taking control of that narrative. We've got to find ways to reach out to reasonable people and get them on board with the truth. And it's okay if they're different. It's okay if they have different solutions. So long as we're attacking the same thing, we'll be okay. If we're all attacking each other because we have different ideas, that's not how we win. Put aside the differences for now, and then go back to them after we get this. We have, think of it this way, there's a giant meteor coming, and it's going to destroy the Earth. But we have the technology to stop it, but only if we all get together and push in the same direction.
Mm-hmm.
We don't even have to agree on it all. As long as we're all attacking the same thing, we'll get it done.
Well,
then we can go back to fighting each other if you want.
I mean, not for nothing, look at that small select group of individuals that are calling for segregation again.
Right? Like, what the fuck?
And it's like, it's not
who you'd think.
It's not who you think.
Yeah. I'm sure they are too, but they're not the ones in the spot.
Yeah, and there's people that think it's a huge group. No. It's a very, very small group. It's just they have the bullhorn and they're the loudest.
Yep. And we're not standing for it. I didn't work my ass off.
No.
You know, in the 80s and 90s to you know, not be a bigoted racist piece of shit, to then fall into like that other kind of racism. Fuck you, man. You know, people are people, and we're gonna work this out. We're gonna get along. We're gonna figure this out. We're gonna stop this shit, or else.
You know what I think we need to do? You know how you did the Shadowgate project, and it was multiple individuals involved? I think we should do a mass healing project.
At some point, yeah. I'm not good with the healing. I'd have to ask somebody who's better at that to do.
I think we should send out some healing vibes.
I mean, the Shadowgate project's working like a treat.
It is.
Why do you think all this shit is becoming so obvious?
You see a lot still to this day. I think, though, we should send out some waves of healing for humanity.
Yeah. At least, you know,
or the good
enlightenment vibes. Because if people realize that, if people get with the awakening, not just awakening to the evils going on, I mean awakening to non-dual consciousness.
Yeah.
People start figuring that out or get it, your whole attitude changes. I'm not saying you can't be a dick or be a misanthrope, but there's a compassion behind it. You realize that the person you're fighting with is just you in another form, and it changes how you look. Sometimes it makes you more mad, but
and when I say healing, it's not to negate the shadows. Let them continue to feast on those that need it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's good people out there that are hurting.
And Sparky66 isn't wrong. Like, I'm not disagreeing with the, you know, he says enemies should be destroyed. Turning the other cheek makes man a vicious creature because of repressed aggression. The problem is either extreme taken to the extreme is wrong. There are times you should turn your cheek, and there's times you should smash the other person on their cheek, just like LeVay said. Don't dogmatize yourself. Don't get into axiomatic thinking where there's no flexibility. There's absolutely fucking times you need to destroy your enemies, because some enemies will never stop. I call them rabid dogs. Rabid dogs need to be put down. But people who just have the wrong thought aren't necessarily a rabid dog. If someone is insulting you, that's not an excuse. Insults are not an excuse to destroy. Existential actions are a reason to act. Someone means to destroy you, yes. If someone is just verbally abusing you, just walk away, man. I've been in more fights than most of you will ever be in. I walk away from most of them. I'm a pacifist, but not a coward. And I'm not a cheek turner. I'm not a fucking doormat. There's a time, some people and some groups of people and they deserve mercy because they're being victimized too. But other people do need to be destroyed. And if you have a tribalistic mentality about it, then you're a part of the problem too. You're not making it better. You're not going to destroy the left. You're not going to destroy the right. It's never going to happen. And if it does, I don't want to be there. Even if it's my side that wins, I don't want that. That's not a solution. That's creating a fanatical regime where only one idea is permitted. No. So I agree, Sparky, very strongly with what you said in the sense that we don't want to make shadows by repressing our hatred. But at the same time, do we want to be ruled by hatred? Well, no, of course not. Hatred is a tool. It's another tool in your box. And if you're using it only, and you're not using compassion and love, then you're in hell. not the good kind. So there is a time to turn the other cheek, especially when you're dealing with someone who's not a threat. You know what I mean? So be nuanced is what I'm saying. Don't take either off the table, but learn discernment on when it's right to do which. If all you do is lash out and attack people who attack you, you're not going to be respected for that. Number one, you're actually going to make more enemies that way. Number two, it ends up draining you. Hatred is a draining emotion. You ever notice that? Hatred doesn't make you stronger. It can make you more aggressive, but it doesn't make you stronger. Hatred is a draining emotion. Love is a strengthening emotion. Trust me, I know both very well. They're the same thing. Love and hate are on the same spectrum. They're not opposites, they're polarities. If you don't understand the difference, you're in trouble. The opposite of love is total and utter coldness. To be hateful of someone isn't even as bad as to be cold about it. So, love and hate, same spectrum, same energy, two sides, same coin. Learn when to apply which, and you'll do all right. If you only try to do one, like if you're a love and lighter, you never go to the dark side, you're stupid. If you're a hate only type person, you're stupid. And I'm not afraid to say that, okay? People have got to get thicker skin when they're wrong. If I say you're stupid for something that's that obviously stupid, don't be offended. So I definitely agree with a lot of that, especially, you know, if you have legit enemies. Absolutely, do what you got to do within reason, you know. Alexander C. asked, do you think Trump was set up from the start? No. Yes and no. What I believe, what I am fairly like 95, depends on the day, 90, 95, 99% convinced of, he's not just a billionaire trying to be a president for selfish reasons per se. I'm sure there's selfish reasons involved. There's plenty of ego reasons, of course. But the idea that he's just a billionaire who's just fighting the system because he cares so much and he's a billionaire or wants to make money or any of that, that's all dumb. That doesn't make sense, even when it made more sense than it. Now it makes zero sense. It made a 5% sense in 2016 when we didn't know the bigger picture. No, Trump is the front man for an international coalition that is in opposition to the New World Order. This is why the left has been trying to pin the Russian thing on him, because it is true, just not in the way they want it to be. Trump is absolutely working with the Russians. He's also working with Brazilians and North Koreans and our own military, I guarantee it, to oppose what they're doing. He's not just some guy that you don't like because the television told you to hate him. You don't have to like him. I'm not going to force that town to question it. Question it.
It's telling you to say that he is a racist bigot.
Oh, I'm seeing the chat drop. All right, fuck him. I don't care. Thorne likes Trump. I hate him now. Good. Bye. Fuck you. Don't like you either. Don't need you. Don't want you here.
Real quick,
Yes.
there's a comment from Crow down below. He says,
Okay.
Thorne, I'm sorry, cannot stay. My own health is not good. We'll catch up with you soon. Watch the skies, my friend, as the crows are everywhere, and you and yours are watched over.
Oh,
Be
thank
well,
you, Crow.
Be well.
Yeah, I feel better. I think that's, if that's who I think that is, I think that's JB's son.
Oh.
I hope he's all right. I have to see the, I didn't know he was here. I would have said hi extra special. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, he's been here for a little while today.
I didn't realize, I don't know if that's him. I think it's him. I get the feeling it's him. All right. Yeah, and I don't want to hang on the whole, because that makes it too much about the man. Okay, people have, Trump has been used as a device to divide, whether he knows it or not. Okay, that's the truth. The military, the government, doesn't matter what side of humanity you're on, the media and everybody has used him as a wedge. They have to. Even the good guys have to. You need a standard. You need a front man, and you need someone to be the target of hate and also to be the one who takes the blame when it does right or wrong. So he is like the meat shield. If you're playing an MMO, you got to have like a tank, right? He's like the tank. If you think he's making up these ideas, if you think he's leading everything, I got another bridge to sell you. He's the front man. I'm not saying he has no input, but if you think he's the one making the decisions, ultimately, no. He's got advisors, and those advisors are connected to this coalition. If you only knew or suspected a fraction of the stuff that I'm talking about, your mind would be blown. You'd see it immediately. You'd be like, oh, well, now I see why it's all happening the way it's happening. Why would this system be bending over backwards to shit itself to attack this man? If you think that they are pure and innocent and just in attacking him, but then at the same time let other corruption go, like in the Biden family, you're ridiculous in your mentality. And the same thing goes in reverse. There's so much going on that you don't know. And I can tell you, if you're sensitive, you don't have to know all the like nitty-gritty details or conspiracy theories. Just look at your astrology. Next year we're having a major lunar eclipse. A solar eclipse that's gonna literally cut America in half. Look at the path of totality of that fucker. Go Google it right now. I want everybody to take a minute. I'll do it myself. 2024 path of totality map. Okay. And it's not a perfect division, but if you look, it's cutting America right across the fucking middle, guys. Look at that shit. What do you think that means? During next year, where's Saturn right now? What sign is it in? It's the water bearer. Saturn was the original ruler of Aquarius, not Uranus. It was originally Saturn only. That fucker's in his own house right now. What do you think happens when he leaves? Pluto return. It's America's Pluto return next year. Dude, there's so many upheaval level astrological events. You know that whatever's going on is going to come to a head in the next 3 years. Mm-hmm. And it's going to blow the fuck up. And if you think it's just going to be somebody wins an election, you're not smoking enough or you're smoking too much. I don't know which. Now, I don't know what's going to happen. I just know the context. It's going to be a wild fucking ride. Mm-hmm. And people go, why do you talk about this stuff, Thorne? I don't like it. Let's talk about demons. You're dead already. You're another one. You're in another category of zombie.
Remember, it's the billionaires of the world that really look into the astrological aspects of all this, too.
Yep. J.P. Morgan very famously said, millionaires don't fuck with astrology. Billionaires do. Mm-hmm. Look it up. They all know what's going on. And they're sweating. Because they didn't expect what's going on. They just didn't. They thought they had it sewn up. They thought that under Hillary, they were going to get, I can't say certain things on YouTube, that under Hillary, they were going to get the coof, and she was going to usher in martial law in America for it. They were going to do all the shit, just like they did Australia and Canada. In fact, they weren't as bad in Australia and Canada as they could be because America wasn't under their thumb at the time. If America was under Hillary at the time, it would have been much worse than it was. Motherfucker, what good is magic and sorcery if I don't have vision and can tell you what's going on? Discernment. If you think magic and sorcery is just to get you a better job or to give you enlightenment and you don't care, fuck you, you're dumb. You're still dumb. You're putting your head in the sand. Magic and sorcery give you eyes that can see way beyond the horizon that most people can see. You're not always right, but it gives you eyes that can see. And if you have an aversion to this shit going on, you need to wake the fuck up because it's coming for you. It's affecting your life, whether you want to admit it or not. And having no opinion doesn't make you better. Having a, I don't let it bother me because I'm spiritual, doesn't make you better. It just means you're avoiding. Because this isn't politics as usual right now. This isn't the Democrats run this and the Republicans run this and the conservatives and the Christians and that's not what's going on anymore. This is literally life or death. This is literally existential shit now. You're literally talking about a group of people that are trying to put the capstone on their New World Order plan and they're failing big time because they're getting pushback. And it's not just pushback from some billionaire with orange skin. If you think it's just him and a couple of right-wing politicians, you are deluded. You're falling for the psyop still. And it's not going to be over quickly. We're going to get a big boom soon, but that's just this first part of the whole thing. Then you're going to have to deal with the remnants that are revealed. You know, they still have a stronghold in the EU. They still have a stronghold in Canada, in Australia, parts of China, parts of South America, Africa. They still got strongholds everywhere. But America is the biggest one. If you kick them out of here, if you start cleaning house here, the hit that they take is massive. It's like getting their Achilles heel broken, ripped out. They won't be able to do what they were going to do. So then you're going to start seeing shit heat up. Well, I soft predict, I'm putting this on my agenda board of very likely things to happen. By the 2040s at the latest, we'll probably be in an open war with Europe in some way, or economic, something big's going to happen. I'm telling you. I'll be very, I won't eat this hat, but I'll definitely put some salt on it and lick it if I'm wrong. We'll put it that way. Yeah, sweetie.
I'm sure you've heard recently enough that they found in New York City CCP headquarters and 13 other places across the United States.
Yep. Among other places. Yeah. Come on, guys. Do you really not see what's going on? Are you really one of these people who goes, Trump is this or Trump? I'm not even saying Trump's a good guy. He's a front man. It's not even about him.
He's the monkey wrench.
Why do you think I voted for him? He's a monkey wrench being thrown into the system. That's why I support him. I don't agree with everything he says. I support him as my Ares, as my Ares charging into battle, spreading, chaos and discord.
Yeah.
Demos and Phobos. That's what he's there for. Good. And he's taking all the slings and the arrows while everybody else is watching him being attacked by everybody. And when you do your research, you go, okay, I may not agree with his policies, but he's not a racist, he's not a bigot, he's not all these things.
You know what it kind of reminds me of? In the old movies, when you see the one man on the battlefield with all the arrows in his back and he's just not going down, he's got his axe up.
Yeah, he's like a berserker.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's because he's untouchable by this. If they kill him, they kill him. He's this, and I don't think they can. I don't think they will.
No.
If he dies, I guarantee you within like 24 hours they'll be like, do not leave your home.
He's got
and military will start crushing
pocket.
shit. What, honey?
He's got something in his back pocket.
Of course he does. He's not even fazed by half of this shit. Maybe they killed him just now, right? While they're arresting him.
Another indictment.
Watch, I'll be dead wrong because like we'll turn on the news and he'll be like, Donald Trump was shot dead in front of the courthouse today. So yeah, this is important, guys. I know it turns people off, but it's important. It is important. All right, let's see. Let's see. I'm losing my place. There's a lot of chat going on here. Aw, Alpha says, no, you're fine. Just give your beautiful wife Camilla a foot massage later. I don't do foot massages. That's nasty. That's like tickling your booty hole after. No, I don't know. That doesn't.
I mean, not for nothing. I don't know. Feet are gross to me. The only thing I do with my feet is wash them and do my toenails and maybe use one of those little roller things to rub my feet. But otherwise, I hate people touching them.
Yeah.
Feet are gross. I can only scroll so far up on.
Yeah, I'm just reading people talking, people arguing about what God is, who's that, and this, and.
Oh boy, we got one of those in the chat. Artistic dance studio. I want to sell my soul. What can I do?
Oh God. All right.
Pay me $500. I'll take it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Pay me.
Pay me. Yeah. No, I'm not even going to entertain that. I get that kind of question gets out here a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. All right, I think we've cleared out the chats here. So, how much longer we got? We were only going to do like 2 hours today, so I think we're getting close to the time. So, all right, let's swing it back around to less divisive conversation. Look at it; it went from 30 to 10.
It's fluctuating. It was back up and down and back.
It does.
Down. It's like every time we touch on a certain something, it drops again.
I'm not even sure that's why. I think part of it is people weren't prepared for a day stream because I don't advertise those as much.
It is the day stream with people working and everything, yeah.
Oh, Stinky got a spider bite? That's not good.
Oh.
That's not good. Watch that thing close. You know what to do. You don't want to get one of those necrotic bites. Those things suck. Thorne's the best. Yes, fuck them all. Get your dicks out here. Dicks out for Thorne. He's a good bird. No, artistic studio. We don't do Satan. We don't do Satan soul selling. That's not.
I hope you're trolling with that.
I hope they're trolling. They might be, and if they're not, then they're being trolled by the universe, and just let them enjoy it. Sparky says, I wasn't really using my soul anyway. What do you think your soul is? It's consciousness, dude. That's your soul. Your soul. So what does it mean to give up your soul? Imagine consciousness not being conscious anymore. Imagine just being a mind with no awareness whatsoever. Basically being like an AI bot, you know? That's assuming AIs don't have any consciousness watching them. I think they do. There's a difference between the clinical definition of consciousness and the metaphysical definition. Yeah, I think that was a quote, Sparky. I think I remember that one, yeah. I never watched that movie, but I do sort of remember that line. I wasn't using it anyway.
What movie?
Brother, Where Art Thou?
Oh, I never saw that one.
Yeah, it came good. Out. I think it came out in the 90s, if I remember right. And they had like the little, you know, the.
I think it was the early thousands. I feel like it was around when I was graduating high school.
Yeah, he says when the guitar player sold his soul at the crossroads. Well, your soul is consciousness. That's your soul. Like that's the epitome of your soul. And you don't have a soul. There's no you to have a soul. There's consciousness. That's you. You know, there is no you that can sell their soul. It wouldn't work. And let's remember, different traditions will say these things different ways. So some traditions will say, you know, like Twilight just did it. He's talking about Dharma and all this. There's different ways to say these things, you know, and it depends on what your definition of soul is. I define soul as Brahman, as Atman, as that which we recognize as conscious, maybe. But no, you're not selling your soul. Now, you can devote yourself to anything. You can devote your egregoric self to anything. You can devote yourself to furthering whatever, you know, if you want to be a slave to Satan, that is divine too. I don't recommend it. I'm a Luciferian. I oppose doing that. But that's a personal choice. In the ultimate, there is no difference. It doesn't matter. Do what you want. Do as thou will. Sell your soul or don't. Do whatever you want. Go for it. You can have any experience you want. You're God. If you want to experience selling your soul to the devil and then end up burning in hell for 1,000 billion lifetimes so you can play guitar better, then I have no doubt that that is a possible thing to experience. No doubt whatsoever. If you can experience this, you can experience that. There is no limitations in the divine at all. None. Any dream can be dreamt. What the divine spurns returns. I like that. It's very true. Mm-hmm. Yep, aeons, archons, yep. Absolutely, Wenwu. I am technically, so I am not truly a Gnostic Luciferian, but that is the mythos that I like to apply. And there's good reasons for that, not just because they make sense. When I was a kid, I basically channeled a form of that without even knowing it. And then I find out later that it's almost exactly what, you know, Neoplatonists and Gnostics would have talked about. You know, I am not a Gnostic in that sense at all, but yeah.
Real quick, we got JD in the chat.
JD! Holy shit! From the Light of Darkness, JD Temple 444 with 4 hearts. Would that mean 4444? JD, what's up, brother? We got to get you back on the channel, dude. It's been a while. Hope you're doing well. I haven't spoke to you in a while, man. I haven't spoke to a lot of the old guys in a while. It seems like everyone's just off doing their own thing, or maybe I'm blacklisted. I don't know. No, I'm serious. It seems like they're all just doing their own thing. And that's a good thing. You know, I think we all kind of got to spend some time integrating what's going on in this world and in our lives right now.
I think we have a critter in the house.
A critter?
There's something in here making noise.
Is there?
Yeah.
We got a morsel back there?
I think so. The other night when I was making my servitor, I heard it in the wall behind me.
Don't tell her it's Nicodemus.
I wouldn't be surprised. Hey, I got you with my servitor the other night.
You did? You really did?
I sent him out to inconvenience you.
Yeah, Zach M. Very good follow-up to Dancer. Says, so to answer your question, Dancer, you can't sell your soul. You can just give your time and attention to fulfill all consciousness. It just doesn't work. Consciousness is all there is. Yeah, EA was in here a while ago, last week, and yeah, it seems like people are making the rounds again. I miss everybody. I got to start chatting with you guys again. I've been just sort of like doing my own thing because I've just been in that space where I just don't feel. I feel like being solitary lately, you know. I'm sort of preoccupied with other things, we'll say. But yeah. I know JD has his own channelings, impressions, intuitions about what's going on and where it's going to go. You know, I think timing-wise he's been wrong, but I think context-wise he's been right. I think when he says like, oh, there's going to be grid failures and stuff, I think he's completely right. It's just when and how bad and how widespread and will it be here or just around the world? But I think you're right. You know, This is why we incarnated here, guys. That's why I get mad when people bury their heads in the sand. It's like, motherfucker, you incarnated here to witness this and participate in it, not to run from it.
And just because your head's in the sand, your ass is still out.
Exactly. That ass is still available. You know what I'm saying?
You just won't see it coming.
Yeah, you might hear it or feel it, but you ain't. But No, in all seriousness, in all fucking seriousness, you incarnated here to witness this and to participate in it. And if you are running from it, if you're avoiding it, your shadow's winning and you're doomed. You'll have to repeat the age of Pisces. Think of Pisces as like a grade in school, the age of Pisces. You'll have to repeat the age of Pisces if you are fucking hiding from this right now. If you don't, to use the 5D to the 3D to 5D metaphor, if you don't at least hit 4D through all this, age like a class. There's 12 of them. There's 12 grades in school. You ever notice that? Did you ever notice that?
Well, technically 13.
I guess. It didn't used to be.
But
well, there's preparatory, you know, there's kindergarten.
Kindergarten, yeah. I don't think used to technically count because it used to be half days.
All right, fine. My analogy's wrong. I like my analogy better.
Hey, 13's a good number.
13's a good number. Well, some people believe there used to be a 13th zodiac, you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. In fact, let me look it up. Let me see who it was, if I can find it. Probably won't find it.
Ophiuchus. I know I pronounced it.
Yep, Ophiuchus. Yep. Ophiuchus.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
I'm not one for pronunciation. I just get it generally correct.
The serpent bearer or snake charmer.
Yeah.
And what culture was that from originally?
Oh, I don't remember.
You know, there used to be, if I remember correctly, like a month that wasn't on the calendar. What was that, Roman? They had like a month where they just didn't count anything because it was meant to be like their free-for-all time.
Yeah, like
something like that.
Like the rest day.
Yep. Nice. Okay, Benny says there was originally 18. Okay, yep. Very possible. Yep. Ophiuchus, Zach says. Yeah, it could be. I'll have to look up. I don't get that deep into astrology. I think astrology is very important and useful, but it's just another language you can get, you know, and it's another way. It's useful. I mean, I know a little bit about it, obviously. You kind of have to. If you're doing anything with the occult or esotericism, you have to know a little bit. You have to. Yep, there used to be 13 months, 28 days. Exactly, Twilight. DH, what do you think of RFK Jr.? He's working with Trump to help divide the Democrats between, you know, he's trying to split the vote. He's one of the good guys. 100%. If somehow he ended up being president, I don't like his stance on guns, but he's attacking the right people, so cool. He's definitely one of the good guys. I read people for a living. He's one of the good guys. If you want to support him, if you're on the left, you can't bring yourself to support Trump. I get it. Support RFK with everything you got. Please do. Please do. I don't support people like Bernie, not because he's a commie per se, but because I know he's full of shit. RFK, support him. When I run into somebody saying they hate Trump, but they like RFK, I am nice to them instantly. I had it happen the other day on Twitter. Some guy was like, Trump's a dick and blah, 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 blah. We need RFK. And I just was like, nope, I'm not going to troll this person back. I'm going to be nice as fuck. Be like, thank you very much. I am glad you're supporting RFK. He's a much better option and he's going to help. You're really helping Trump by liking him. Trust me, you have no idea. Yeah, I don't like that either, Zenchi, but you know what? These things are crafted. So Zenchi says, don't like his stance on affirmative action. Look, I don't want anybody discriminated against, but that's the point of affirmative action. It discriminates. So I don't want to get into that ball of worms, but he's got to have certain... If he was Trump, but RFK, that wouldn't work. Draw away the moderates who are currently being, you know, needs to happen next. It ain't going to be solved by voting. And it ain't going to be solved by DC. It's going to require almost 100% the military to step in and clean house the hard way. If you can't see that, you're still not paying attention. Does that mean that's what's going to happen? I don't know. I think it is. How it's going to happen, I have no fucking clue. I just know it's got to come to a head, and people have got to reach a point where there's no going back. Like, this has to stop. And then people will say, all right. When I have a feeling when this is all over, there's only going to be a handful of people that don't get it when this is over. What I mean by a handful, remember that 10 or 20% I was talking about before? That's what I'm talking about now. You're going to have 10 or 20% of the population of the world, or of the United States anyway, that still doesn't get it and is going to try to be a problem. And they're going to you're literally, people like me are literally going to be stepping over them like zombies in the streets. They're not going to matter. Their time is ending. That paradigm is almost over. The matrix is completely crumbling. And people are seeing it, and I'm here for it. I don't care if it kills me. I don't care if it kills everyone I love.
It's funny.
I'm here for it.
It's funny the amount of times that we say that when you take into account the movies and everything else in the genre, the amount of people that you see that are zombies, they are living zombies.
They are. Why do you think like that Romero movie, like I use that as an analogy all the time.
Essentially, the zombie apocalypse come to fruition.
Mm-hmm. No, 100%. Romero's movie, I don't know if he knew it was coming or anything, but that was very apropos about the state of society, especially then. You know, we like to think like, oh, especially if you're an actual conservative, which I'm not. You might sit here and think, oh, the world was so much better 50 years ago. And no, they weren't. People were just so thoroughly brainwashed. And at least at the time, our system was at least working for us more than it was against us. So it wasn't so bad. But now, no. If we go back to that, where everybody's just wallowing in propaganda all the time and believing everything the state says, that's not good. We don't want that. We need skepticism of power.
It wasn't that long ago that there were more people that didn't trust in their government.
Mm-hmm. Zenshi, I disagree. I don't think the military has, but I know that, all right, yes, to a degree it has, yes. But you don't make it sound like it's the whole thing. I mean, our kid's in the military, and we ask him all the time. He's like, yeah, there's woke idiots there, but they're not the ones running things. They're a pain in people's asses, yes, and it sucks, and people don't like it. But the military's still 80% on board with the right ideas.
To put it this way, those that are of that mental persuasion are more the fodder.
Right. That's projection, and it's highlighting, it's creating this illusion. Look, one of the reasons that they're making the military look woke is so that people discount them like they couldn't help or that they're bad. They want to listen to me very carefully right now. This is high-level psychology right here. Okay, you ready? This isn't hard, but it may be hard to see. I want you to think for a moment. Which group of people generally goes in the military the most? Put in the comments, which group of society generally in America joins the military the most? The poor. Okay, let's get the poor out of the way. The poor in the military context is almost always patriotic to some degree. Yeah, maybe they're there for college. True. There's a lot of them are there for that. But they have a patriotic streak, and they have a camaraderie in the military. They have a sense of nationality, patriotism. And most of them are moderate to conservative. Mm-hmm. Just like you said, Zenshi. Yes, minorities too, Jafar, exactly. Interestingly enough, they're usually patriotic minorities. My son's in the fucking military. I can ask him right now. When they get someone in there who's saying that they like Biden, they have a talk with him. Mm-hmm. They talk him down every time. Not many are in there going, oh, Biden's good.
I mean, not for nothing. He was in boot camp with somebody who was
a drill sergeant
in Antifa.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the drill
and
sergeant.
went to all the protests, and they got separated from the Navy because it wasn't the peaceful protest.
Right. So while you do have an element of it, I know you're right. You're not wrong about that.
And to be
that element's not in control.
I'm not saying it's just one side or the other. They separate. Anybody. It's not just Antifa. They separate those that are troublemakers and make it known on social media. They go through all their accounts.
Yep. I again, in case you weren't here earlier, Jafar just showed up. In case you weren't here, I'm not saying go vote for Trump or support. I'm just saying attack the right group and you'll be fine. But by and large, the military is not going to come after us. They wanted it to be that way. That's why they're driving that wedge. They're trying to make the impression that the military's gone woke, is ineffective, is a bunch of, and just like Zenshi said, I got nothing against trans people or anything. Do I think they should be in the military? I don't know. It depends. Just like anything. Not everybody should be in the military. Does that mean trans can't? I don't know. I'd have to see the situation. I think case by case is what it would matter. Just like someone who has, who like me, who has long hair. Should I be in the military but insist I get to keep my long hair? No. I have to cut it. So you got to make sacrifices to be in that club, okay? One of those sacrifices might have to be your identity. Because in fact, that's the first thing that goes when you join the military, is a big chunk of your identity gets subsumed into the military.
Well, not for nothing, even something simple, like, well, not necessarily simple, but they look at your medical history. If you have a predisposition for cancer, they will not accept you.
Right. Is that discrimination?
This is a broad thing because, for one thing, it's high maintenance. Okay? Let's say you're out abroad, away, you know, over the seas or something, and you have a flare-up and need to get it taken care of with your medication, and you can't get your medication because you're out.
Yeah.
This is all things you need to take into consideration.
Yep. And Twilight makes a good point, but I want to say something that most people don't realize. So he says, I have zero issues with trans people or any people for that matter, so long as they leave the kids alone. I've fallen into this trap because of a perception that's been created, which is gays and trans want to fuck with kids. I don't think they're any more likely to be a pedophile than a Catholic bishop or something. You know what I mean? I don't think that being trans or gay or any of that, I could be wrong. I'd have to see the statistics, but personally, I don't think that makes you more likely to be anything like that. What they're doing is they're trying to create the perception, because they're trying to divide everybody. So they're trying to create this perception that trans people and gay people want to groom kids. Well, there's straight people that want to groom kids too. Okay? And there's a lot more straight people that want to groom kids than trans people that want to. Can I say this really loud but in a quiet way? There are way more straight people on this planet, and more of them want to groom kids than LGBT people. LGBT people make up what? 0.4%, 4%, some small number? So you can't blame that on trans, gay, LGBT people. You can't. You simply can't. And anyone who is a pedo is a pedo. It doesn't matter whether they're trans and pedo. This is what they do. They get you to conflate things, just like they get you to conflate Christians with Trump and this and that. They're dividing you with these stupid tribal things. They got me for a little while. You guys have been paying attention, know that. They got me for a little bit. I was yelling at friends over dumb shit. Then I went, oh, damn, that was stupid. If they can get me, an experienced person who knows manipulation, if they can get me, they can get anybody. I'm pretty good at spotting manipulation because I'm used to it. They can get anybody with this shit. And I'm trying to tell you guys to stop. They've been propagandized into being a human shield for the New World Order. Do you get it? They're not bad people for the most part. Just like straight people, just like anybody's not bad for the most part. They're a victim of this too. Those poor souls just want to be treated, sorry honey, they just want to be treated as human beings with dignity, and they're being told that the only way for that to work is for some of them to be militant assholes about it, and then the other side's being told the only way to make it work is for them to be, and everybody's fighting over something that doesn't matter to anyone.
Real quick, I just want to clarify something, because I realize how it might have came out. I am not comparing anything to cancer.
Oh yeah, yeah. Good. Oh yeah.
That's how it was meant.
Yeah, I didn't take it that way, so I didn't think to help you
It's
bring
just
that up.
like, you know, when you're reflecting on what you said, it's like, no, I hope nobody took it that way, because that's not how I intended it.
So those people are being used as a human shield, and I won't stand for it anymore. They're hurting my friends. Some of my best friends growing up now have been and will always be whatever the fuck they are. Like, I don't keep score. I don't go, I need a black friend, I need a white friend, I need a gay friend, a trans friend. I don't do that. I don't do that. Yeah, Blair White. I like Blair White. I know that makes me a bad guy in some people's eyes. I don't know why. I like Blair White. Look, we just met. Not met. We know someone pretty good that is a Republican trans person.
Mm-hmm.
They're not that rare, actually. Yeah, there may be a minority in the LGBTQ minority, yeah, but they're not that small a number, okay? There's quite a few. Quite a few.
I'm actually going to have to call it a day, I think. It's getting really hot in here.
I think we will in a minute, too. Yeah, I think that's... You could probably pop open the door anyway while we're saying goodbye and all that, just to get comfortable. Just in case we run a few more minutes than you'd like. But I agree, because I said about 2 hours we'd go, so for those of you guys who didn't get triggered... Yeah, we need like a vent or something. I wish that skylight would open. Wonder what it would take to get that fixed.
Another piece of wood and some screws.
Could we do it, or should we just get somebody?
It's a lot of mechanisms.
We could always ask Lucas's brother.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the skylight's old.
Right. Well, we'll just look at it and be like, oh, that's too hard to do without this and that. We'll say, okay, fuck it, never mind.
As is, it's got a 4-inch screw that is stripped all the wood, so we'd have to replace a lot.
Yeah. Oh, well. All right. Well, back on topic. So we're going to get going in a minute, guys, but I want to thank you all for being here. For those of you who weren't triggered into running away and realize that we are humanitarians. I am not a racist. I am not a bigot. Am I right about everything? No. Am I sometimes ignorant and not realizing that I'm being insensitive? Absolutely. But I'm not trying to be sensitive. That's not me. Okay? Maybe it's because I'm an Aries. I don't know. I'm blunt. I just... Wake up, dummy. You know?
I think you scared the bird.
I did. So, if I offended you with my opinions or calling people dumb, grow thicker fucking skin. I'm not abusing you. Because there's a time when it's interventionary. It's time when it's not about being nice to you. It's about showing you a mirror and saying, this is how you're being stupid. I'm going to give a shout out to Twilight on this one. Twilight, son of Lilith. For a minute there, I was trying to be a fence sitter so that I could keep my audience going. And Twilight said to me, Thorne, I know you're not like this. I know you don't like the New World Order. I know you're an enemy of them. You're not being yourself. We had a fight about it. Right in the open. But he was right. He was completely right. I wasn't being true to myself. I was trying to not get canceled. I was trying to be chill. Because I didn't think it was going to reach this point at the time. So thank you again, Twilight, for holding that mirror in my face and telling me you're not being true to yourself. Thorne's got a huge arrogant ego. Only for a minute. Usually it goes away. And I've got words for you guys. And that is, have hope. Most people get it already. Most people are getting it.
Mm-hmm.
They're catching up. They're figuring it out. The red pills are being handed out. There's still going to be a lot of stupid people standing in the way. It's never going to be perfect. But I'm going to tell you this last thing, and then I'm going to cut it here. I've been watching this going on for 15 plus years. Maybe more by now.
Oh, I think more.
Probably close to 20 now.
Yeah.
No, because it was really like 2009-ish I started to really wake up to this crap.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
Long enough.
Long enough. So I've been watching this for a long-ass time. I never thought we'd get where we're at. In other words, I never thought I'd see people rising up. I never thought I'd see an organized resistance. I never thought I'd see what is obviously a military intervention, a coalition of forces against this. I never thought I'd see that. I thought that they were going to eventually win, and it was just going to be people like me and some of you guys hiding in the woods waiting for them to come round us up. That's what I thought. And it was only a few years ago that I started to see the pushback, and this year I'm finally convinced, just enjoy the show. Participate, be on the right side, the side that's about freedom and humanity and treating people with dignity, and you'll be on the right side no matter how this works out. And you'll probably never ever be completely happy, but you're probably not going into the dystopia you thought you were. And if I'm wrong with that, oh well.
Yeah, you know what though too?
I'm not a doomer. I refuse to doom.
If we are wrong and we end up going into the wood chipper, I have zero regrets.
Yep. Yeah. How does that go? The Skyrim thing? My ancestors are smiling on you, Imperial. Can you say the same? That's how I feel. I know that if I die in the course of these events, I don't die. I won't die. Thorne might die. I'll be here. Yep. Adversarial selves, the show must go on. So grab a beer and some pretzels. Absolutely. People peeking out their doors like Apocalypse Now. Yeah. Guys, it's going to get a point where even your dumb neighbor with the Biden sign in their yard's going to get it. Like, that's what I think is going to happen. I don't know when or how long, but it's going to come. It'll come. And you're only going to have a handful of ideologues, maniacs, and brain-broken people that don't get it. There'll still be a lot of them, but nope. All right, guys, I think that'll be it. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for sticking around. To those of you who did get triggered, I do apologize that you don't have the chops to take it. But those of you who do, especially if you don't agree with me and you're still here, wow, I love you. I fucking love you guys. Those of you who disagree and still respect me, then I respect you too. Thank you so fucking much. You guys mean a lot to me, believe it or not, because that means you must really fucking like me to be here, but you disagree with me.
That speaks volumes because that, yeah.
Exactly. Means you're a true blue friend, and I thank you. I do.
It's very hard nowadays to reach across the aisle, but it's getting easier.
I think it's getting easier.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you don't still have a few maniacs that hate your ass, but...
Oh, they'll always be out there. They'll hate you for one thing or another. It doesn't matter what it is.
Right. They're just a hater. Yep.
Some people just need to hate.
Yep. You exist. That's all it takes.
Oh, God, he's breathing.
So, all right, guys. With all the love in my little black heart that I have to give... Come on, bird. Say goodbye. That's a good girl. You fly up there and say goodbye. With all the love that I have in my little tiny black marble of a heart, I thank you guys. I thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys next week. For those of you who tuned in for this, there won't be a stream tonight. This is tonight's stream now, and I'll see you guys next week. Say something, honey.
Something.